All right, we're back. Another episode for 1107. Today we have a very, very special guest, Mr. Worldwide himself.
Oh, I got two varies. I feel nice.
Honestly, we got the one and only Tapper, audio engineer, rapper, singer-songwriter, vibe curator, the man with the vibes. Like, this man
Thank you for
is
having
like
me,
super
man.
talented for real. And it's my pleasure, bro, for real. Like, honestly, like I've been waiting like to interview you for like the longest, bro, because like for you, those who don't know, which is pretty much like most people, me and Tapper like we're homies. Like, I've known him for like a minute. Like, I recently just met him like last year
Yeah,
in
man. I
Miami,
was
and
just thinking about it. It was like 8 months ago. Yeah.
that shit was wild. And it's just like, Tapper's like one of the most genuine dudes that you'll ever meet. Like, bro, when you remember that trap lore, allegedly like the
Noise.
yeah.
I'm bugging.
Yo, you about to go off on that kid, bro. Like,
Sheesh.
like he was acting like he was like fucking
Pablo Escobar, bro.
bro, right?
El Chapo's nephew or some shit.
Bro, we were trying to just get some gas, bro, and you couldn't even get us like a gram. Couldn't even get us a gram.
Yeah, it was very slow.
It was,
But then again, it was like 2, 3 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? But they say Miami never sleeps, so I figured it would be easy to come by, but it was not at all.
like at least I was expecting for us to just like get some mid. That's what I was expecting. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause like in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, we're probably just gonna get some like weak ass shit, But like he couldn't even come through with that, Like,
he was already fried when like we met him. Like he was already fried. Like we were walking back from 7-Eleven and he was walking into his apartment and he was like, "Hey, don't I know you guys from like high school?" We were like,
yeah.
"Nah." We were like, "Nah, bro."
And this man was like trying to get us to like, he was like, "Yo, man, we should all smoke together, go back to the apartment." And this was like peak COVID, you know what I'm saying? Like almost like maybe like coming down from the peak, but it was just like, nah, bro. Like, I didn't know who this nigga was. Like, I just wanted to like go back to the hotel and smoke, But aside from that, like side tangent, like it was still an amazing trip.
Definitely.
Like a lot of good vibes.
Eye-opening for sure,
Honestly, like there was like a lot of good that came from it too. Like it was like kind of like that transitioning point. Like there's been times where, where the internet meets like reality. And it was nice to know that like meeting you, like it solidified like our relationship even more. It wasn't like on no funny shit or nothing. It was just like cool vibes and just like really getting to like know each other more, like how we move, our personalities, just like how we view life. Just
And
like
I like that you said internet meets reality, because leading up, like when you told me about the interview, I was just thinking about different things that I could talk about or whatever. And one thing that came to mind was just how people put on internet personas, you know what I'm saying, and try and upkeep this caricature or this character, to push to the audience. And I was thinking about that, and he said internet meets reality.
right.
And it's just it's hard to if you don't really know who you are as an artist yet, it's hard to kind of differentiate, like to kind of draw that line, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I feel like that trip really helped me see where that line was, and see where I was and where I wanted to be, and also myself as an artist and where I wanted to be as an artist as well, and trying to find this gray area where I do not have to put up a character, where I can just be myself and have that translate through the music and kind of just remain as genuine as possible. You know what I'm saying? Because I find that a lot of people put up these internet personas, whether it's a tough guy act or whether it's some mysterious guy act, and try and then like when you meet them in person, that kind of spills over and shows its face, because people are trying so hard to upkeep this whole entire idea of who they want to be. And that Miami trip just really kind of opened my eyes and kind of showed me where I was and what I didn't really have to do. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. I don't even know if that really makes sense.
I know it makes like 100% makes sense, because it's like the upkeep to like keep on the persona, like, you know, you can't be that persona forever. Like, you gotta take off the cloak. Like, there has to be a time where it's just like, okay, we're done, you know, being this guy. It's time to be regular old so and so. And also, a lot of times people feel like their story isn't like gonna sell. Sorry to use that word, but like they feel like it's not gonna be like worth the listen.
Entertaining enough. Exactly.
Yeah, like it's if they feel like it's not gonna be like people won't relate to it, or they feel like there's still that whole standard where like if you're a rapper, like you have to have like this gangster persona and you gotta be like tough and you gotta like have some kind of like hood accolade.
Like you have to maintain a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
And these days it's not like that. Like, you know, you could really just genuinely be yourself, because there's stories everywhere you go. Like everyone has like their struggles, like everyone has like their coming of age, no matter where you came from, your socioeconomic background. Like it doesn't matter, because it's just like somewhere in the world, like they're gonna relate. And I know you have a lot of experience, like in the industry, so to say, because like you've been doing music for like over 10 years, you know?
Yeah, damn near, yeah, man.
And like kind of explain like your roadmap from like you getting your first mic to now.
Oh damn. All right, cool. So I was like 13 years old. I just moved to Connecticut from New York. It was like my freshman year of high school. And my cousin, who lives in Florida, actually, he's pretty much same age as me, maybe like a year younger, and he was already rapping and recording and putting his stuff out on I forgot what platform it was. But it was like the platform like with the star as the like a red star as the logo that people like used to use before SoundCloud. And he was, and like we would talk every now and then, and my friends and I back in high school would just like rap freestyle during lunch or whatever the case was.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey man, like if you're really about it, just get a mic and start recording and put it out, because it's actually pretty fun. So I was like, all right, bet. So that's what I did. I ended up getting actually for a while I was using my webcam and Audacity. And I was recording on that for a while. And
shout out to Audacity.
actually, bro, all my old shit is actually still out there on DatPiff.
Word? Oh
yes,
yeah,
yes.
You showed me that.
Yes,
I remember that. Oh god, I gotta run through that.
I have like 2-3 mixtapes on DatPiff. They're actually very bad, but I like to keep everything up because it shows the progression and it shows that, you know, everybody has to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I know 9 out of 10 people will not find that to be good music, but at the time, for my age and what I was doing in my peer group, everybody was fucking with it because I was doing something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was my freshman year. I was kind of just playing around with music, kind of just, I enjoyed music growing up as well. Like I played piano and I played a little bit of guitar beforehand as well. But during high school, I was just kind of fucking around with recording and rapping and stuff like that, kind of getting more comfortable with it, audio engineering myself through these different programs. I eventually, for my birthday that same freshman year, I eventually ended up getting an M audio microphone with the interface. It was actually a USB microphone, so there was no interface.
Okay, that's solid. Solid.
Yeah. And I started putting out like a mixtape or two every single year, essentially.
Okay.
And fast forward to my senior year, I finished high school. I'm going into college. I'm like, shit, man, I really love music. I want to take this shit more serious. And I ended up putting out, you know, like at this point, I kind of found my whole entire process, like the beat selection, my whole entire style that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
My influences, what I was trying to aim for, XYZ.
Yeah.
And I ended up putting out my first official, I guess, album called Temples. It was kind of like it was a audio. I like to consider it an audio documentary. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an album in a sense, but I made it as if it were the soundtrack to a movie.
Right.
You know, so yeah, so I put that together. I put it out, and I was getting a lot of good press on it, and a lot of attention. Like I was garnering a lot of attention through like different internet blog sites at the time, and I ended up over the next few months with a lot of the producers that I worked with on that tape. I ended up forming a group called Smallest World. It was like 8 of us, including myself, and I was managing pretty much everybody at the time. But it was all like very small based stuff, and we were all like averaging around like, let's say 100 to 500 plays a song, like lifetime views.
Yeah.
And over the course of the next year or two, you know, through just me just like busting my ass every single day, we ended up taking all of our songs from like 500 lifetime plays to like easy 5K a week on SoundCloud per song, you know. And we were just putting out songs like rapid fire, you know.
Yeah.
It was like three rappers and then 5 producers, and yeah, we were just cranking out a lot of stuff. We were garnering a lot of attention, getting like 10 times more press, and let's see. So then that led me to working with bigger artists from SoundCloud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna name drop or anything, but
Right.
a couple pretty industry heavy people. So that album opened up a lot of doors for me. I ended up working, you know, did some like minor, a couple of songs with a couple of different labels, and didn't really work out all that well. But I was still young and learning the game, and pretty much doing a lot of stuff for free, just trying to get on. And yeah, I took a little break in between to kind of figure out where I actually wanted to go with my music, and what actually felt validated doing. Is that the right word? Yeah.
Yeah.
What I actually got validation from doing in music, because at the time, after the whole entire Smallest World group kind of fizzled out a little bit, I was doing like rap EDM stuff because those were the avenues that were open. I was just trying to find a way and get my foot in the door, so to speak.
You know, I actually heard that like the EDM scene was like an easy pathway. Not to say like anyone could just do it, but like if you really knew like, you know, just how to like maneuver, like you could really like be popping off in the EDM scene. Because I know like a couple of dudes like that were like doing festivals, like it was nothing. And then I think like Kenny Beats was even talking about it. Like he was saying like, yeah, I was doing a couple of EDM shows, like, you know, festivals. And
Yeah, bro. Like even this new artist Beam. Have you heard of him?
yeah, you put me on to him.
Yeah. I found out about him hella fucking early, like the year before he like started to blow up. But a lot of his older stuff was pretty much on EDM beats, because these DJs have access to such a big audience, and it's like to some degree, I don't even know, I don't listen to EDM music like an EDM head would listen to EDM music, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't really know how they interpret it, but from my perspective, I would just guess like, hey, I fuck with the beat, I'm trying to be in a zone, I'm trying to get pumped up, or I'm trying to feel X, Y, and Z way. And the lyrics are kind of second thought. They just kind of accompany the beat and add like a little bit of sauce and flavor to it. So it's like from a rapper's perspective or a vocalist perspective, getting on an EDM track is an easy way to open up yourself to new audiences that will kind of easily kind of fuck with your shit, as long as you're on the beats that they like. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's kind of weird in that way.
And like the crowd, like the scene, yo, like people be fucking with the EDM festivals. Like they be lit. Like honestly, it doesn't even matter like who be going on stage. Like they just like be rocking with the music. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they just like fucked up on like the LSD and all that shit or whatever they take, and just vibing out.
It might be.
But like regardless, like you got like those are valid points. Like really like getting into like the EDM scene, like it seemed a lot more doable than like I guess merging to like the rap scene, not to like discredit the genre, but like I said, I saw like a lot of like people from like my hometown, from like my friend group, like they were like really like making it work in the EDM scene.
Yeah. At the time, I was working with this artist named Fossil Beats. He's from
Yeah.
Australia, and I'm not sure if he still is, but at the time he was signed to a Diplo and Major Laser's label. I think it's called. It's not. I forgot what it's called. I forgot what it's called, but he was signed to Diplo and Major Laser's label,
Yeah.
and we ended up doing like we put out a few songs on SoundCloud, and they were doing very well, like 50, 70K views in the first
Mm.
month. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Shit.
Like, cause he pulls numbers for real, the EDM producer. But it was still kind of like, it wasn't too EDM heavy. It was more rap based still. Um, and we ended up doing like maybe like 10, 12 songs. Honestly, they were obviously, because my quality back then, this is like 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
it's not where my quality is now. But the songs and the songs as a whole, they all had a lot of potential if the quality was a bit better. So we ended up putting together 10, 12 songs, submitting it to the label, and they were fucking with it. But you know, labels do things on a schedule, like they do like their releases on a schedule.
Yeah.
So that that project ended up getting shelved, but a couple of the songs got aired on Diplo and Friends radio. So that was pretty cool. And then through them, I ended up working with these two other DJs in Europe, and they were signed to DJ Tiesto's label, Musical Freedom,
Mm.
and we got a song out through them, and yeah, some I that's when I really got exposed to some, like, I don't want to call it shady, you know, because I appreciate the opportunity nonetheless. But that's when I got exposed to the other side of the music business, the nasty side that kind of made me jaded towards it for a while, to be honest with you.
Did you feel like at that point when you got on Diplo and Friends radio, and then you were working with these major DJs, did you feel the passion for music was going away? Like, I know you said earlier that like you were trying to, when you came back, like, you know, you were kind of like seeking, I guess, what made you love the music, the validation, like what
Mm.
the high points of that made you really, really enjoy the process of making music. Like, did you feel like during that era, like it kind of just like simmered away?
Well, all right. So there's a saying for this. I don't even know the saying right now, but it's essentially, when you're chasing the money, you're never going to get true validation, or that true feeling from it, you know.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was leaving college. I was in my June, like my first I finished my first semester of my junior year, and I was gonna dip for my second semester, and just pretty much try and make this music shit work.
Yeah.
And so my whole entire goal was, all right, because I didn't even understand how this is still SoundCloud, like early Spotify, early Apple Music days. Apple Music probably wasn't even out yet. It was probably still just iTunes.
Right.
No, I think Apple Music was out back then, but it was very early, you know.
Hmm.
Like SoundCloud was still king, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, you know what? I need to find a way, because at this point I was getting easy 10K. I had all my plugs for my playlist and all my connects for my curators XYZ,
Hmm.
and I was just trying to figure out a way to monetize my music, because I was leaving school, and this is plan A now, you know. And
Right.
so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make this music shit work. And that's when Fossil Beats and I ended up doing that whole entire EP that led to me working with those two other DJs,
Yeah.
and getting that opportunity. So so it's like I wasn't even focused. Like I wasn't even focused on making music that touched me personally. I was focused on making music that, first, the people that I was working with would like, so that they could put it out, because they were already well connected.
Hmm.
And I was just trying to pretty much make money off of my music, man. So to some degree, it felt like I was just selling out, because I wasn't really making music that I liked. I was just making music to make music, to make money off of it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that song came out through Musical Freedom, and we signed the contracts and everything for the publishing and stuff like that, and they never. I never saw anything show up on my books on my ASCAP info, you know. So I
Yeah.
was messaging them about it, and they were kind of giving me the runaround, because I was doing all this work for free. Like I was getting like 2-3 hours of sleep a night every single night, maybe if I was lucky, and recording damn near half of the day, just like working on music like half of the day.
Fuck.
Just, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, it wasn't even music that I liked. It was just music that people wanted me to do, and to some degree, they wanted me to do it because, well, this is how I feel. So like they wanted me to do it because I was doing it for free, and I was getting, like, they would send me a beat or like a whole entire beat pack, like
Yeah.
with like 4 or 5 beats on it, and
Hmm.
I would send them 3 back the next day, pretty much finished, fully stacked, just need to be mixed. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I'm writing all these songs the night before, a couple, like maybe like take like 2 or 3 days to write the song out, but I'm sending them back like super fast, so they're getting their content, and it's like I felt like I was being taken advantage of as well. So it's just like, damn, man, like I really didn't know, like it was like I was caught between between I was stuck in the middle of the fence, I guess, kind of saying, okay, you know what? Do I just keep on doing this in hopes that it pays off, or do I, stick with my own integrity and do what I want to do, and make what I want to do work? And I ended up just, because I was already on that path. I ended up just working with them more and more, and kind of losing my love for it because I wasn't really doing what I enjoyed doing. Does that answer your question? Sorry, that was
Yeah. No, no, no,
a
no,
bit
it's fine.
long-winded.
Oh, no, 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 it's fine. Like, and I totally get that. Like, I feel like a lot of people, as much as like they would say, like, they would do things differently if they were in your position. Like, you were fairly young, and also like you were still like getting your feet wet and just understanding like the business, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
And it's like, like there's like always a question, like, between the money and the integrity, and it's just like a really tough thing because like no one knows the circumstances that an artist is put into, like they were talking about like Six Black, right? Like when he was like signed with like Flow Rider, like he was
yeah,
literally struggling, could barely have money to eat. I don't even know if they were
yeah.
paying this nigga, you know what I'm
They
saying?
were not.
Yeah, like they weren't paying the nigga at all. So it's just like he's out here struggling, he's giving out like all his energy, like the output from music was just like, I can imagine, be immense, you know. And for you, you're saying that you're getting like 2 hours of sleep, you know, and just like spending like hours on days like trying to like write these songs that you're not even really that passionate about. So I mean, I guess you know, you answered the question, you chose your integrity and you forged this path for yourself to continue like figuring things out, you know, getting past like the shadiness of that side of the industry.
What I ended
And
up realizing, sorry to cut you off, like what I
yeah,
ended up realizing is that there are different levels. There's like a hierarchy to fame. You know what I'm saying? And
explain.
like there, like you have your Drakes and your Jay-Z's. You
Hmm.
have your blacks, your six lacks.
Oh god,
You know what I'm
I keep
saying?
calling it, I keep calling them Six Black because it's just like there's the six,
Nah, yeah, I
and
feel
then
you. But it's like you have different tiers to fame. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I realized at that point, it's like, yes. Um, I realized at that point that I didn't necessarily want to be the world's biggest star ever. I just wanted to be in a position where I could make music, and people that enjoy my music will love it enough to help me maintain a lifestyle that would make me comfortable.
Yeah.
where I could just make music, enjoy life, and continue doing what I'm doing and touch people in the way that I wanted to touch people. And when I realized that, it's like, all right, you know what? Because I was doing the whole entire EDM stuff, trying to open up myself to a broader audience, which I did, and I met some cool people through it as well. But I realized I would find more gratification in doing what I want to do and maybe affecting a smaller scale of people, but it's still like, but me still fueling a career out of that is still a viable option. You know what I'm saying? Like I realized that there's a market for everything. As the internet progresses, there's a market for everything. For whatever you want to do, it can be done, and you can make a living doing it.
Do you
You
feel
know?
like you would, knowing the knowledge you know now, like let's say you go back and you go back down that route of the EDM music, do you feel like you would have had a better handle on things, or do you feel like you would still need to take a different path rather?
Knowing what I know now, I would have a way better handle on the whole entire situation, because at the time I was not producing at all. Like I had my friends from my pretty much collective that were producing for me, and then
Yeah.
I was meeting producers along the way
Hmm.
who all gave me beats for free. Like I'm so fucking blessed that they all gave me beats for free. So I always had content to work with on that end. You know what I'm saying? But knowing like what I know now, I would go back, and even if the business side was dirty, I would still do it, but
Yeah.
I would have the skills to make what I want to make on the side at least, you know what I'm saying, and put it out alongside those releases.
Right.
At the time, because I was just in that lane with no other outlets, like with no other genre outlets, I guess. Like I was kind of stuck in that EDM rap lane for like a good half a year. Um, I didn't really see an out because I was not producing my own shit, you know. But taking that year and a half break after that time period, I ended up teaching myself how to produce, which then in the following year ended up well following couple of years I ended up teaching myself how to play guitar, and I bettered my audio quality as well. So you know, so it's like my home studio sounds like a fucking professional studio to some degree,
To
you know.
some degree, bruh. Okay, guys. I just want to say that this nigga turned his fucking closet into a goddamn booth. So we're gonna stop with the cap because this man is definitely an audio engineer,
We turned the
respectively,
telly in Miami to a booth too.
bruh.
Shout out Post, you know, 900 worldwide, all that.
Shout out Post, you know what I'm saying? Like he showed us a good time.
Yeah,
And
man.
like also like it was just like that experience, like just recording like on the go. I feel like there's this perfectionist mindset where people feel like they have to go into like this professional studio, you know, have an engineer like ready and just like record. But honestly, like starting out and just like, you know, not even just starting out, just continuing to progress in the music like journey, you find out that you don't really need so much, I
Yeah,
guess, when it comes to like tracking vocals and recording and, you know, just trying to get the ideas out. Cause at the end of the day, you know, you're just trying to get ideas out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just want to like have a good time with your friends, record, you know, and just make the best quality music. Cause wherever you go, inspiration strikes. And just like how a novelist like has a pad and like they're writing down their ideas for like the next novel, you know, you got a musician like, you know, either a voice memo, either like they got their laptop, they're recording like on the go, you know, they got the interface, they got the microphone, like wherever they can set up, they set up. So it's like, you know, I can imagine during that time, like when you were like in Smallest World and just like up till now, like you're in a lot of situations where you're recording like just on the go and it's kind of like inspiration strikes like whenever. So like, how does it feel to you? Like, can describe the feeling like when you're recording, like what's that kind of like going through your head? Like, what's the feels of like just tell me the vibes.
damn. All right, the vibes. I don't the vibe. So I might be going on like a little tangent, but like when I was coming off of that hiatus after the whole entire EDM stuff that I was doing, I was making music that was telling my story, the music that like really touched me deeply, and hopefully it
Yeah.
would translate, you know what I'm saying? And I was pushing it to blogs, trying to see like the feedback from it, because at this point I hadn't put out music in like a year, and a lot of the feedback that I was getting was, hey, it has potential, but it's still very rough, you know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
quality wasn't coming across like well enough, I guess. So I took that to heart, and I pretty much from then up until very recently, I would just focus on putting out the best quality music, like sound, like sonically, you know what I'm saying? Like the best sounding music that I could, in terms of mic clarity, in terms of the mix, the production, and and then I realized I like, and then time passed, and I listened to actual artists, like let's say Drake. I listened to like a lot of Drake songs, like his new songs, and his old shit was like 10 times better quality, and he's like 100 times richer now, which means that he could get super crisp, clear quality now. But it's like if you listen to his stuff now, it's like weird reverb on his shit still, like he's recording in an open tiled room. Like I hear shit like that too, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I realized that the the quality does matter to some degree, but it's really about the vibes, you know what I'm saying? So nowadays I know how to make a good song, and I know when I'm on the path of making a good song or an okay song already from like the first 30 minutes into making it. And so I just try and have fun with it, and most times when I'm writing, I will, try to come up with like a small, like little concept, and just go with it, and just really just like let loose and have fun. And because the energy that you put into the music is the energy that comes out of it, end of the day, no matter the quality, no matter the quality at all, So my whole entire like recording process, for a while I was really just focused on creating the best sounding, like sonically crisp and clear audio
Yeah.
as possible,
Hmm.
and I was putting all my energy into that, like kind of disregarding the energy that I was putting into the music, just trying to make sure that the music itself sounded good, like that I was, because in my mind at the time, the clearer the music was, like sonically, the better, like the more people would be able to relate to it. But then I would like listen to like recent Drake songs, and
Yeah.
his like microphone quality is not even 10 times near as good as it was on like comeback season or whatever, like where he was
Yeah.
like where he was actually trying, you know what I'm saying? Like no disrespect to him now, um but it's like I realize people, like the quality matters to a certain level, but then after that it's really just energy, you know what I'm saying? And people fuck with energy, and the energy that you put into the music is the energy that comes out of it. And so now my whole entire like recording process has kind of changed a little bit. I'm not too focused on how good it's on how crisp and clear the sound is. I'm focused on the energy that I put into it, and the emotions that come out of it, and so yeah, so I go in there with a certain plan in mind, whether it's me picking up the guitar or me finding a beat on YouTube. But I go in there with a certain plan and a certain emotions that I wanna provoke or evoke, whichever one, I don't even fucking know right now. But
Yeah.
and I make sure that comes across as clear as day. That's really my recording process. I go in there with my production, and I have the music video in mind for it already, and I have the vibes that I want to come across, and I just make sure that I bring that through, whether it's through my voice, or whether it's through how hard I'm playing guitar, or where a beat hits in a certain place. You know what I'm saying? I just try and bring the vibe across more than the clarity or the quality, I guess, like sound quality. You know?
No, I get what you mean. Cause like even to add on, like energy is also important. A lot, and energy usually comes from like kind of like the vibes you're feeling, and then like it's sometimes like an artist just wants to record like here and there, like where they're at, like right outside the booth, like with they niggas, you know what I'm saying? They might
Yeah.
just want to be on the couch, you know, they might like be passing the mic around. Like if for those who know like Alex Toomey, like he's like a famous mix engineer, and he talks about so many stories like recording like a lot of Atlanta artists, like especially like Rich Gang, you know, Young Thug, Rich Homie Quan, like all of them, like the Migos, Travis Scott here and there. Like there's been like crazy times where he has to like really use his technicality to like capture the vibe despite like the irregularities or like just like, you know, like for example, like maybe they all want to record on like one mic, and then like they have like separate mics set up for like each of the artists, but like they don't care and like they just want to do their own thing. So it's like sometimes like you just have to just like go with like the flow, honestly, you know, especially like as like technology improves and plugins get better, and you know it's becoming more and more accessible for like people to like bring out like better and higher quality despite the environment. So it's like, you know, the recording process definitely has changed for a lot of people, like, and for you as well, like you mentioned. So
And even to like add on top of that, like another thing Miami showed me, like it was you, myself, and Post recording
mhm,
pretty much like that last half of the vacation of the trip.
yeah,
And I was so like prior to me going there, pretty much I've recorded everything that I've released in the same studio in my room, you know. And I've tried going to other professional studios before, and I'm excited to be there, but sometimes the audio engineer is not as invested as I am. Like it might be like another like just another song to him, you know. So
yeah,
so it's like his energy that he's putting into it is not even anywhere near matching my energy. So it's like it still comes out sounding weird because it's not the same vibe. It's not like it's not the right environment. And maybe that's just me being a little uncomfortable not being in my regular setting, but everybody that's participating in that track, the vibe has to go into it, and it adds to it, or it might take away from it as well, you know. And being in Miami, I was so used to just like I listen to music and I write stuff pretty much all the time. So I had a whole bunch of writtens already for whatever beat that we pulled up, and it's like yes, like listening back to those songs that we recorded now, it's like yeah, they sound good, but knowing what I know now, if I were to have written something on the spot like the rest of you guys and like just be spitting it like in the moment and really be in the moment with everything, it would have been a different vibe to the song, you know.
yeah, because it's like sometimes like it might just be like, you know, no one's prepared, like, you know, no one got some shit ready, you know. They might have it pre-written, they might not, but at the end of the day it's like something has to be recorded. And of course these days like a lot of people just punch in, and that's becoming more and more prevalent like in recording sessions. um I think like it's when I first like when we got to Miami, like, and we started recording, the most notable thing was like watching Post and G Star just like record just like track after track after track after track, you know, and
Yeah.
they were ready to record, and it's just like the effort they were putting in, like despite like the hours, like you already know, bro. Like I was like, I was
we,
like,
we like we were leaving the next day, like that next morning,
yeah,
and it
like
was
it
like
was,
it was like
we were still
2
up.
3 4 a.m. and we were still up recording, and our flight was at like 7, like between 7 and 9. Like that shit was some crazy shit. I ended up
Yeah, you know what
I,
I'm
I
saying?
ended up missing my flight.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was like, fuck,
Yeah,
bro. Like this
bro.
nigga missed his flight, bro. And it's really commendable just seeing like the amount of work put in to like just vibe out and make some music. You know, I feel like it's very underrated when, you know, people always look at musicians like, oh yeah, just another rapper, just another artist. You know, just playing around with the music, especially from my parents, you know, like they're just playing around with the music, you know, nothing serious coming out of it. But like there is so much that goes into it. Like it's like these artists that be recording are like fucking geniuses, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially like knowing the cadences and understanding the sonics and just like trying to see what fits and like what doesn't fit. Like, you know, it gets like kind of like lost in the culture of like, you know, just how hip hop is, but not everyone can do that. Like not
There's definitely a
everyone,
science to it. Yeah.
yeah, like not everyone can be in that zone. And then also niggas get tired, bro. Like
Yeah.
I got tired. Like I didn't realize how like you have to kind of be on like go mode like all the time when you're recording.
And not saying that I partake in this, but like knowing like what you just said, you kind of see and understand why a lot of these artists, like rappers predominantly, well, not even just rappers predominantly, artists in general, are
Yep.
on drugs. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A lot of uppers to fucking keep them, because like I was listening to I think it was Coach K. It was Coach K talking about Lil Baby and the Migos and shit. And when he was talking about like when he signed the Migos, they literally moved into the studio. Like they had like little like movie recliner seats that you can sleep in. They had a shower in the studio. The Migos literally moved into the studio, like all their clothes and shit, and just lived in there. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that, you see how they can do 20-30 songs a night. Because if you put yourself in that environment for like let's say a month alone, and you're doing that and that's all you're doing besides touring and like club appearances every single day, all day, for a month, by month number 2, you're like, that's gonna be a second nature to you. Like you're just gonna go in there, you know, it's like the vibe is like you already know. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like it, and like the life in the gym, not in the gym, in the studio is just like it can be very taxing on your health. And like, you know, I think there was like one of the things, some artists actually got to get like, or a lot of artists, they got to get IV bags. Cause it's like sometimes like, you know, when you're so in grind mode, like just trying to like just output so much music, you're not thinking about anything else, honestly. Like
For real.
like you're just thinking about just trying to make the best music. So like your health can really be neglected, and you can't even get mad at one. It's like that's what happens with anything. Like you just neglect certain things that your body needs, and it's like it puts wear and tear. You know, like sitting and down in the chair for like hours on end, and it's just like it just shows like, you know, the dedication that artists put to like really like create the best music, not only for themselves but like for the fans.
Remember when I said that I was like during that EDM period, I was like getting 2-3 hours of sleep a night?
Yeah.
So I was like about like 2021ish around that time period. But literally from 18 to then, and maybe to like 22, 23, from 18 to like 23, that
Yeah.
was me every single night getting 2-3 at most 4 hours of sleep. And for like the earlier half of that time period, of those like 3-4 years from 18 to 21, I was also going to school. So it's like I would get home, go to work, come back home after work, like let's say 8 or 9, and I would like literally take a shower, get some food, and be recording or working on music and like emails and all that type of shit from 11 to let's say 4. I would get a couple hours of sleep, get up, drive back to college, and I would be like in, because I didn't live there, I would be like in the lounge area on my laptop, fucking sending out songs to different blogs right before class, in between classes, like literally getting 2-3 hours of sleep a night for like years, bro. And so that EDM period was kind of like it was a breaking point for me, honestly, because I was so fucking burnt out. I was running myself to the ground, like not really taking care of myself the way that I should have been, mentally especially, you know? Like I was so burnt out, bro. Like I don't know.
Like
I
when
have
you
to.
wake up in the morning, like what was that like? I guess like after you would like, let's say you finish recording your songs, you go to sleep, and you wake up. How groggy were you?
At that point in my life, and probably still to this day, I would always just tell myself like even as a little kid, I didn't really need sleep, bro. Like I hated going to sleep because you miss out on the day. You know what I'm saying? And it's like even recording, like during the recording process, I would get tired. But I remember something that Michael Jackson always said to his engineer or to like Quincy Jones or whoever he was talking to. And it's like they would be up recording late and they'd be like, yo, Michael, like, we can just like record a song tomorrow. He was like, no, if we don't finish record, not even like doing part of the song, if we don't finish the song tonight, God is gonna give Prince this song, so we gotta finish the song tonight. So it's like that's the mindset that I had. So I would go and I would be working on 1, 2, 3 songs, and let's say the third song I started at like 2 a.m. or whatever. If it took me till 4:30 and I only got like 30 minutes of sleep, that's what I would fucking do. And I would get up and I would go and I would get up after those 30 minutes, get my shit ready to go to school, make sure that I have my laptop, and all that's on my mind is, okay, cool, how am I going to promote the song? Where am I going to get this song placed? Like legit, I was always on go. So it wasn't even a sense of grogginess, bro. And I didn't even drink coffee back then either, man. I was just on go because I wanted it cause I was very, very fucking hungry for it. You know what I'm saying? And
Damn.
I can't even words can't even describe the fucking passion that I had for it. Because I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm much more into my like back then I would give my life for this music shit, and I still love music a lot right now. But I value my life as well and my mental health, especially now, because I know like I'm a very obsessive person, you
Mhm.
know. So if I and it's 0 or 100. If I'm not giving 100, I don't really fuck with it like that. I don't really. I'm not gonna do it if I'm not gonna give it my all. And so, but now I kind of tame myself to a point where it's like, all right, cool. I can like, to be honest with you, bro, I'm still kind of holding myself back a tiny little bit because I
Yeah.
know how overly invested I can get and how much I can let it take over my whole entire life. And I realize that there's more to life than music. Sorry if I'm rambling, bro.
Oh no. Just it's fine. This is a safe space for like just we talk about anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think there's being a shift made when it comes to really like hustling and like really like grinding day in day out. Like especially like when it comes to like maybe neglecting your health. Um I do understand like, holding back because it's just like, you could give it your all, but there's going to be some sacrifices,
Mm.
and I can imagine, you know, the ramifications of like going all in the studio. Like for some engineers, like they end up like having bad backs and like having messed up like muscles because like it sits in a certain position like all day, or for like some like artists, or maybe they fuck up their ears, or like they don't eat the best, or like
Like for me, it was a lot more mental health than it was physical
yeah,
health because it's
describe that.
legit music was my everything. So I had no social life. I didn't go out anywhere. I didn't go to up until let's say 2 3 years ago. I can count the amount of times that I've been to a club or a bar on one hand. You know,
Yeah.
like I didn't have any social life. I didn't really like people know me and I have quote unquote friends, but I didn't hang out with anybody. Like legit, it was go to school, work on music while I'm at school, go to work, maybe listen to a beat, write some shit while I'm at work, come home, make music, repeat for like 5 6 years pretty much. Like I didn't do anything but music.
I will
And
say though, like there's some sacrifices needed to made because you know it it's a very time consuming thing. Like especially as you're improving your skills, like you're having to like do a lot of like research and then practice, and it just takes a lot of time. Like it's some things got to be cut out. especially like when you're doing things that's not quote unquote normal and like not everyone can do, you kind of like ostracize yourself from like society. Like you feel disconnected.
Word.
And it's just like on one hand, it's like, damn, I really want to experience like, going to the bars and going to the clubs as often as like my friends are. But on the other hand, like you're doing things that's like not a lot of people can say they can do. Like you were working with a label, you were getting like with these major artists, so you were getting these placements. And so like, not to like negate like your mental health, but I will say the efforts made like throughout the years wasn't like a waste.
And I definitely feel you on that. And it's like, it's not like I regret any of that, because I honestly, even though I've been through some tough times through that period, I wouldn't change it for anything really, because like the whole entire 10,000 hour rule, I feel like through that period, because I was just grinding so heavy and I was so focused and so locked in, if I haven't passed my 10,000 hours, I'm very close to it, and going through that period, like pretty much being a slave to the music, legit, like not even to sound boastful or braggadocious or whatever, but making good music now is second nature to me. Like sometimes I just stop in the middle of a song because I know it's not going to be the quality of song that I want to make,
Yeah.
Like making good music right now is so second nature to me. Like it's very easy for me to do now, not to like, fuck it, I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back because I work for it. It's second nature, because I went through all those periods where I was just like legit locked in my room, just working on it and grinding it out day by day. And I, even though I'm not as far as I would like to be in my artistic career, I still have done so fucking much that I don't know. It's unique to me. It's unique to my life, to my story. No one else can really say that they've done the same shit,
And like you were like deep in the forums. Like, can you talk about just like some of the connections and some of like the experiences that you had, like just like networking throughout like a lot of internet forums?
Man, bro, it wasn't even internet forums. It was just SoundCloud and Twitter, for real. Like high school, I was big on Twitter. And I was taking SoundCloud more seriously the further into high school that I went. And like legit, all right, so I haven't really I have made some connections, but like the people that I've encountered along the way and seeing where they've gone and the heights that they've reached is very inspiring to me, because I was like literally talking to these people. We were on the same level, almost making music together on some cases. Like I remember, like before Brockhampton was Brockhampton, it was just Kevin Abstract. Like I remember pretty much talking to him, talking to his co-collaborators, his producer's actually also from Connecticut, and I ended up getting his number, and I would send him songs every now and then. When I released my album, all right, this is actually a funny story. So technically I've worked with Jaden Smith before, and pretty much I was invited to be part of his like Misfits Republic group way back when, before they got signed to Rock Nation.
Yeah.
So I'll just like give like a little breakdown on that story. Like at the time, he was making very emotional music, not necessarily the I'm just an icon living type shit that he's on now. He's making like actually, now he's kind of reverting back to that, and to some degree. But but he was making very emotional music, and I was fucking with it very heavy. It was like my first year in college, and I was finding out who produced for him, and it was all pretty much like his cousins and his family. Yeah, he has a cousin named ITN Dylan and another one named Daniel DRTs, and those two are brothers. And Daniel DRTs is a fucking phenomenal producer. And I found him on Twitter. I messaged him, hey, what's up, man? I fuck with your music so heavy. Let's do some shit. He was like giving me outrageous prices for beats at the time, because I was fucking broke. I was a broke college student, and I was honestly used to just getting beats for free, and people just wanted to just work and have fun and make music and shit. So I was like, all right, my bad, bro. Sorry, I'll come back to you when I got the bread for that. And I ended up finding Jaden Smith's burner SoundCloud page. where he was making beats and shit. So I messaged that SoundCloud page because I found a beat that I liked. And I was like, hey, I really like this beat. Do you mind if I use it? He was like, yeah, man, go ahead, use it. I was like, all right, cool. He didn't know that I knew he was Jaden Smith, but I knew he was Jaden Smith. So, all right, cool. So I ended up making the beat, making a song, putting it out like 2-3 days later. And I was like, all right, what do I do now? And I was like, fuck it. He already responded once, and I messaged him again. I was like, hey, man, I made a song over your beat. I sent it to him. I was like, if you really like it, I would really appreciate a repost on it. And he did. And then fucking the next day, Daniel DRT, his producer, messages me back on Twitter. He's like, yo, bro, I just heard that song. It was crazy. And that's how I knew it was really Jaden Smith, because it's like, otherwise he wouldn't really give a fuck. And he's like, that song was like really crazy. He started sending me a few beats, and I ended up using one of his beats for my first project, Temples. So I was like, what, like 18, 19 at the time probably. And yeah, so then after I put that out, it got nice reviews, and it was actually appreciated very well, and it was picked up by different blogs and stuff like that as well. His brother Dylan ended up messaging me saying, hey, we're putting out a Misfits collab tape, a collection tape pretty much, and we'd love for you to be on it. So they sent me a couple more beats, and I sent them back. So I was on that. I'm not even sure, it might still be on SoundCloud. It was called, I don't even fucking remember, like the tape hasn't dropped yet, something like that, because they were working on a collab tape with Jaden, and it's like, it was something to the effect of put the tape out already type of thing. And this was like a lead up to that or whatever. So we did that, and he was like, hey man, I'd like to really welcome you to the Misfits Republic, blah blah blah, like you're part of the team. But in my, like, I was already kind of creating Smallest World, and after watching situations like with The Weeknd and Drake and shit, I realized that if you're under a big artist, you'll never be as big as that artist, and a lot of what you do will be muffled down. So I didn't really jump on it. The way that I should, I guess. Maybe a lot of shit would be different now, but I didn't really jump on that opportunity. Like I was still fucking with them, and I was still in contact, and making songs here and there, or like liking their songs, and discussing different stuff with them. But I wasn't really saying, oh, let me put this out through you guys, and let me, what I'm saying. So I was just kind of doing my own thing. I was doing my own thing. I ended up kind of putting out newer music, and at this point Jaden hadn't dropped a song maybe in like half a year, bro. And all of a sudden he started dropping songs that sounded like what I was putting out on SoundCloud. I feel like I've showed it to you before, like the comparison songs. He started dropping songs that I was like very, like pretty much same cadence, damn near same BPM, same audio effect on the vocal chains. Like I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, maybe I'm just hearing shit, maybe whatever. But then I remember he did this song with Rich the Kid, and they did a music video for it in LA. And like legit, after he started putting out similar music to what I was doing, that the company that shot the video for him ended up emailing me or my manager or whatever the case was. It's like, hey, we really like your, and I remember, and I knew it was them because I was like a big fan of Jaden at the time, and I knew who was shooting whatever video, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when they messaged me, I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? He was like, we heard your music and we really like it, and we'd love to shoot a video for you. And I thought that they were gonna fly out to me on the East Coast, but they were like, no, you gotta fly out to us on the West Coast. And once again, broke college student, unfortunately, wrong time, wrong place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I realized, oh shit, like, not necessarily that he's copying me or whatever, because I don't think he was. My music had reach, and people were actually listening.
Yeah, because you have a fairly like huge fan base, like especially like on your SoundCloud, and to this day, like it's like people, like when you drop music, like people still like be checking for you, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like you had like a huge impact like on a lot of people, like, and I can see like just like you got like a lot of fans from like all over and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's crazy.
it's super crazy. Even like to this extent, like the story that you're telling me, the fact that like your music even reached out to Jaden, you know, like, and it's even crazy that you found his burner account, you know.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, it wasn't too hard because like what I would do on SoundCloud back in the day to find new beats is I would go to artists that I already like and see who they follow and go through, like, literally if they followed fucking 400 pages, I would go through at least like 75 to 150 of them and listen to what they were putting out to see, oh, maybe I should reach out to this guy to work, you know, stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
was doing that with Jaden, and his burner account was like one of those things where it's like user 37ZX6521. It wasn't even like a name on it. It was just a random ass fucking picture that I clicked on and happened to fucking stumble upon it, you know? And
Yeah.
and yeah. And he was inspiring me up until that point. And then but it's cool, at least in my head, to know that I was doing the same for him and inspiring him to, you know, change his sound a little bit if that was the case, you know?
Yeah. Like, you know,
But
it's like a
I
nice
also,
influence.
so sorry to cut you off, but like after going through that, I realized as long as I continue to make good music, it'll find its audience, and good music travels regardless of the image, you know what I'm saying? Or the lack thereof, because I wasn't even putting out videos, it was just straight audio up until this point. So it's like
Right.
I realized good music travels, and as long as I continue to make good music, it might not reach the masses on the level that I want, but it will over time reach who it needs to reach and affect who it needs to affect. You know, like I still have people messaging me to this day about my first fucking album, and how those songs still mean so much to them. You know, it's it definitely is. That's the main motivation for me right now, is really making sure that I make music that affects people and that really changes people's lives to some degree. Like, I have gotten those messages where it's like, yo, like, you saved my life. Like, this one guy messaged me on SoundCloud a couple of years back, and he was talking about how he just got out of juvenile detention and he found my music, and it's just been giving him the motivation to pretty much stay on the straight and narrow path, bro. Like, that shit is crazy to me. Like, I'm just making music in my fucking room, and this guy is trying to better himself, and my music is helping him trying to better himself. And other people talking about like how I say, like, how certain songs saved their lives. Like, what the fuck? And I'm 18, 19 making these fucking songs, 22 making these songs, and it's like legit. Like, and the quality is nowhere near my quality now. It's actually pretty shitty quality in my opinion, like sound quality. But
Yeah.
it legit has such a big impact on these people's lives because of the emotion and the energy that I put into it. You know?
There's like certain songs that, like, when I find them on SoundCloud, like, I might not even really know who the artist is, but like it ends up becoming like a soundtrack to like my childhood or just like my teen years, like college years, you know. It just happens, you know, and some songs resonate, some songs don't. You find them on accident, but it's just like quality doesn't only pertain to just like the engineering, like the audio. It's like the story, like the lyrics.
Yeah.
And like
and
that was
and
one
how it
notable
ties
thing.
into your story, you know, like you as a listener.
That was one thing that was like really notable about you, because it was like a lot of your songs were just really just like it spoke for like the youth, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
It
very
seemed
coming
like
of age.
yeah, like it really was kind of like the kind of music that, like, you know, you're chilling with your homies like in the parking lot, you know, just getting into some fuck shit, you know, exploring the city, just really just having a good time, just figuring things out. You know, everyone has like the different struggles and backgrounds. You know, some might have troubles with their parents, you know, some might have troubles with their careers, but it's just like you can really find solace, like in particular, like your music. Like I found a lot of solace like in your music, bro. Like not like growing up, but just like when I first discovered you on SoundCloud. And I'm trying to remember like how long ago was that, but like
You actually found me through Comma Drama.
yeah, through Comma Drama.
And it's funny because that song was a complete joke. Like I was making serious music and people were not really paying attention to it the way that I wanted them to. And so I was with my younger brother who also produces and makes music now as well, but he was always helping me out growing up and stuff like that. And we were just like I was just like, yo, I'm gonna make a 3-4 track EP with just bullshit songs that and I'm gonna call it what you want to hear. You know, and I was just gonna just pretty much not try, like half-ass everything and kind of put it out just for fucking jokes. And Comma Drama was one of those songs, bro. And that shit, let me see, how many views does that shit have now? Sorry to turn away from the mic, but
Oh, you good?
But yeah, like that song ended up grossing fucking 10-15K. I'm not even sure. Maybe I'm giving it too much credit, but it's up there off of me not even fucking trying. And that's how you fucking found me, you know? And me having such a deep catalog or whatever. I don't know how far back you've gone into my catalog, but you finally
I've gone probably all the way back to, I would say, okay, like probably like 3 years back, like Sharing Smoke. That was probably as far as I gone, like avidly listening to you. But like I listened to a bit of like your older music.
And that was 3 years ago, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's consistently, like being an avid listener, it was pretty much like 3 years back, really listening to you.
And it was on the song that I barely tried on, you know? But that just but I barely tried, but I was still having a lot of fun making it. And I feel like that also was a big proponent of people finding me and enjoying my music and then diving back into the catalog and like, oh shit, this guy actually makes substantial stuff and it's actually pretty deep. And it's like, yeah, I can listen to this song and fuck around and feel good, but I can also like go back and listen to this song and fucking want to cry, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's music.
I mean,
music is crazy, bro. And it's like going back to like the topic that we were just talking about, like soundtrack to people's lives. That's how I really think about music. Like when I think about Drake, If You're Reading This Is Too Late, I remember where I was in life. You know what I'm saying? Like it ties into where I was in life. As much as I enjoy the records for what they are, I enjoy it so much, and it's such a big part of who I am as a person because of what I was going through when I was listening to that on repeat nonstop, you know?
Yeah, I would say, since we're talking about Drake, when Party Next Door dropped, like his first tape, bruh, like it was like summertime. Literally was on the OVO website, like peeped like this new artist. When Welcome to the Party played, bruh,
crazy.
It was literally like 2:00 in the morning. The sky was dark, and it was just like all the way to Make a Mill. I think that's like the last song, or Ballin'. Yeah, Ballin'.
Yeah.
It was just like I don't know, like the summertime was just a lot more like nostalgic. Like it was more beautiful. Like I could just really like feel the hues of just like the summer, like skies, like the evenings, like you know how like there's like that little tint of orange kind of like mixed in with like the purple kind of skies. Like it just it kind of just makes you like appreciate life a lot more. And then especially like in high school, I was kind of like I was a shy kid, but like, you know, like even then, like with the introvertism, it's just like you have like shorties here and there, and it's just like a lot of stories, you know, like it just kind of just sets the tone. Exactly
For that chapter of your life, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, bro, that's really how it. But it's not even it's not even just a Drake or a Party Next Door. It's whichever artist. Like when you think about their most memorable songs, you don't really think about the song. You think about where you were. You think about what you were going through. You know what I'm saying? So it's very what's the word that I'm looking for? It's very open to. You know how they say like the Bible is like living word? Music is like living music. Like it's interpreted by the listener. So everybody's hearing it and being affected by it in a different way that's pertinent to themselves, to their lives, you know?
Yeah, and it's just like a beautiful thing because I just like hearing like about people's like different settings and like where they were and like how which song affected like them and just like how it touched them, you know, because at the end of the day, that's really what it is about the music. Like, you know, you can't get that moment back. That's what makes the music so much more special. Because it's like, you know, you can't go back to making the songs you were making before. It's just like that music is for that moment in time. And so like, you know, you can't just go back to that. Like, I mean, you can try to copy the sound, but like that's that, you know, you can't change that.
Even like to add upon that, as an artist, you ever make a super deep song and you record it on the first try or whatever, or like the first day that you make it, that you
Yes.
write it, and it's like a certain emotion comes out like when you record it, and
Yes.
it might not be the cleanest recording, but then, you know, I'm gonna speak for myself. Like, I'll record a song and I'm super into it because I just finished writing it, and I'm just like super engaged with the song, and I'm in the moment with it. And then I'm like 2 weeks later, I listen to it and I'm still in love with the song, but it's just like, oh, this one is kind of messy in this little part. Let me go and re-record it. I can 9 times out of 10, I can hardly ever get that same emotion back. You know,
It's hard. Like you said, like, you know, when they say like, you know, Michael Jackson, like, you know, he'll finish that song here and there, like despite the time, despite like the hours, despite how everyone feels. Like, it's like certain feelings, like it's really hard to like
recreate.
yeah, like, and it's like, you know, it's a beautiful thing, like with music, like that I feel like a lot of people can appreciate, but I feel like a lot of people don't really understand. Like, when I say that, I mean like people, you know, like I was going back to saying like, oh, like, you know, people just look at like music creators as just like, there was always like a persona given to like artists where we were just like bums, struggling artists, couldn't really get a job, you know, just using up the funds of like parents and loved ones, like wasting everyone's time. But like behind just like the struggle, it's like when you hear these people record, despite like whatever they're going through, it's like such a beautiful thing. Like, it's like no matter how hard life is, when they go into the booth or when they get a chance to record, they will fucking give it their all. Like, there's a thing called passion, bro, that some people got, some people don't, and it's just like you can really see it with like some artists. Like, I remember like with my last interview, I was talking to Never Home, and y'all should listen to that. We were discussing about Nav, like, and Nav's like a Canadian-based artist, and he was talking about how, you know, Nav would spend like, he spent like the whole day posting, like him in the studio,
like every hour. I heard it.
Every hour until he ended up in the Rolls Royce at the end of the story. And we were talking about like, it makes sense, you know, like that's their lives, like in the studio, and it's like the output that they're putting for that music, like despite everything going on in that moment, they're building for that future, you know, like everything that they went through, like it's going to pay off in the future. And like, despite you having to deal with the circumstances with the label, and then like the grueling hours of you having to grind on like 2 hours of sleep from like school to work, then to record music that sometimes you a passion for, or like maybe like a lot of times you're passionate for, a lot of times you weren't passionate about, like it's all part of like your journey, you know.
Like that mindset that any song, like that next song could be the song, is such a big fueling factor. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was really another thing that was driving me, because it's like, I know that I'm making good music and people like it, but it's like any song could be that big break, you know? Like, even like, here's another person so pretty much Curtis Waters. Have you heard of him?
Yes, I heard of him more after you introduced me about him, or like introduced like him, like, and his music to me. And then also like I saw him circulating on like TikTok and like
He was like one of
internet.
the first big artists to pretty much blow up on TikTok,
Yeah,
essentially, you know?
and you were like it's like the producer, what's his name? That's like really close with him. Like that's
Dex, yeah.
Dex.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you introduced me to Dex first before him, and then like y'all had a couple of songs, and it's just kind of crazy how like we're kind of watching Dex's life just like
Change.
transpire
Yo,
into
bro, it's
like the
crazy.
LA,
It's
yeah, the
crazy
LA lifestyle.
because Dex was a part of Smallest World, and pretty much a lot of my songs, damn near, I'm not even gonna say all of them, like maybe close to 40 or 50% of my songs pretty much Dex produced or had a hand in producing,
Yeah.
like over the past 6-7 years. And during that SoundCloud era, myself and Curtis Waters, who was going under the name like pretty much Dex, Curtis Waters, who went under the name Trunks, and this one other guy in Smallest World who's a producer, his name is Sorry. They all live pretty much in the same town, and so I was working with Dex and Sorry, and Curtis would come around to their crib or whatever, and they would make beats and shit. And he was like maybe like 15, 16 at the time, and we were all like 19, 20, 21 years old. And he and I were doing a couple of songs that actually were ended up being pretty well known on SoundCloud. And just seeing his oh my gosh, his grind is crazy, bro. His grind is crazy. Like seeing what he was doing, because like I've been pretty much following him, working with him since he was 16. He's probably like 19, maybe 20 years old now, maybe probably 20 years old now. Yeah, from 15 to 20 years old, legit his life was music, bro. And he was going to beat tournaments, and like, you know what I'm saying, like he was just a producer at first, and he ended up trying to get into being a vocalist, like an actual like performing artist more. And just seeing the amount of time and effort that he put into his craft, and seeing where that took him, and what his dedication led him to, like
Yeah.
his song Stunnin' was like the fucking biggest song on TikTok for a long ass time.
It was because like I just remember just like I was kind of starstruck just because it was just like fuck, like I'm literally watching this dude like have his life change, and you were just talking about like how big of an impact money wise and fame wise and lifestyle wise it was having on both of them.
Bro, like imagine, like like a few years ago he and I are putting out songs on SoundCloud, and I'm watching the fucking NBA finals last year during the bubble, and his song is playing on the commercial for the NBA fucking finals. Like, can you fucking imagine that?
Insane.
Like, can you imagine that, bro? Like, that shit is crazy. Like, I feel like going to record 10 songs right now just thinking about that shit, because it's like that just makes the goal, the goal that every artist has is to be well known and to make a living off of their music. That makes that goal so much more attainable and so much more reachable in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, seeing him accomplish what he's accomplished is like shit, bro. Like, and just seeing the amount of dedication that he put into it, and the amount of time and effort and all the sacrifice that he did put into it to get to where he is now, it's like, damn, like I can definitely do that shit too, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring, motivating for both of them, Dex and Curtis.
Yeah, it's just like the moment and the opportunity just comes like to anybody. Like, well, I will say just like I don't not to like I don't want to downplay it, but it's just like that moment when it comes is just like you don't even expect it, because I don't even know what kind of position they were in like when they when the song came about, and then like what happened or what they were doing with their lives, but like it's just like it just seems so random, especially just watching like just the song like get bigger and bigger. Like it was just like god damn,
It's
like,
crazy. It's crazy because at the time I was working. I was pretty much kind of about to come back from my hiatus, and
yeah.
I was kind of going in more guitar. Like that's when I started kind of dabbling more into like the guitar rap type of style, And the only producer that I was pretty much working with was Dex. So he would just send me beat pack on beat pack on beat pack, like whenever he finished them. And I would record songs on them, and they were hot songs, whatever. I'd send them back to him, and the beat for Stunnin' was in one of those beat packs, bro. And I never really fuck with it like that. I was like, it's cool, it's all right, but it's not really my style, whatever. So then he ended up messaging me. He was like, hey, bro, Curtis wants to use this shit. Can I send it to him? I'm like, yeah, man, go ahead. And that song is a song that obviously, like, if I were to make a song on it, it probably wouldn't even have the same effect. But just that one song fucking changed everybody's lives, man. It's insane.
It's wild. Like, it's just like that one song could just really just catapult your career. Like, no matter, like, if whether it be like international superstar or just being able like to make a decent living off of it, which is really, really good. It's like, you know, sometimes, you know, you just never know. Like, the opportunity just strikes and you're either ready for it or you're not. Like, it just hits everybody out of nowhere, you know?
And bro, it's like I feel like they've already done articles on how he blew up or whatever. But like, legit, it's not about how many people you can reach. It's about who's seeing your shit, bro. Because Curtis actually, before, like, he put out a whole entire album. It was called Pity Party. He put out a whole entire album on SoundCloud, and his current manager, who used to be some big executive at Spotify, who left Spotify to start his own, pretty much like kind of like label. His current manager found one of his songs randomly on SoundCloud and was like, oh, I actually fuck with this kid, and made him take down the whole entire album. And then they put out Stunning on TikTok, and they made it blow up pretty much. And then they re-released the album, and that's when everything that like the ball really started to get rolling, you know. So it's just that one little thing. Like, that's why I find myself kind of caught between striving for perfection and just being in the moment and releasing shit, you know? Because it's like, yes, I want to put out the most amazing quality stuff that I can, but at the same time, it's like, if I wait until everything's perfect, I'm never gonna put out anything, and that opportunity will continuously pass me by, you know?
That was kind of like the same story for like Dominic Fike. It was like, there was like this one song, like they were saying like the quality was like ass. I get, personally, I don't know how the quality could be ass because it's fucking Dominic Fike, and I imagine like he had like pretty good production skills because like he's an amazing artist, but to them they felt like the quality wasn't there, and so like it was like they took it down and then they brought it back up, and it was just like sometimes, like, you know, I feel like you can just always, like, even if the quality is not there, like, if someone hears it and they like it, you know, like you said, it's not about how many people see it. It's just like who in particular sees it and hears it. So it's like, you know, it's kind of like that tug of war between like really trying to like be a perfectionist and then just trying to like get the ideas out and not hold anything back. And as an artist, you know, it's really hard to really toggle between those, is because it's like the integrity part, like you care about your craft a lot, you know, and that's a given, you know. It's okay to like feel that way because of course you have to put things out, but like you said, like you're an artist, you know, you care about your art, you care about your craft, like you want to make sure like you're putting out what you want to put out. So I mean, it's just like kind of like this thing that you just have to like really kind of sit down and think about.
For real. And that kind of takes me back to the first thing that I was talking about, like where you said internet meets reality, you know, and
Yeah,
and that persona, that character, like like everybody has a vision for their stuff, you know.
yeah,
And
it's tough.
I say that because shit, I just lost my train of thought, bro. I'm so sorry.
I know you good, but like, you know, it's just kind of like when it comes to just really trying to, you know, see your persona and like, you know, you want to kind of like have like a quote unquote brand and kind of have like a certain image of yourself, people could just view you differently. And then like when you kind of have like a more of a self-awareness and kind of have like that view that other people see of you, it kind of just changes things, and it kind of makes a shift, like makes you kind of reevaluate things a bit.
And I remember what I
Like,
was going to say now. Sorry. It's
no, you good.
so pretty much it's like where internet meets reality. So essentially, because of the internet, is an oversaturation of content in general, whether it's videos, whether it's music, whether it's TikTok shit, you know what I'm saying? Everybody and their mom and their fucking grandma's doing this shit now, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like from where I'm coming from, it's like when I was 18, 19, 20 years old making music on SoundCloud, the audio, like the good shit would cut through and find like the cream always rises to the top, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how that's what my mindset was. So it's like just make good music, it'll find its audience. But at the same time, yes, there's a lot of bad content being put out there, but there's also a lot, like now there's a lot more good and great content being put out. So it's like the I feel conflicted because it's like to a certain degree the audio can only get you so far, you know? And
Yeah.
and you kind of have to be a personality nowadays in order to reach a certain level of notoriety and fame, because everybody knows someone that makes good music that's not the biggest star out there at all, like at all, you know? And so now what more can you do on top of that to push yourself further? And that's where I find a lot more conflict in being an artist, because it's like I'm not the real showboaty or like, hey guys, how you doing? Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. That's not my personality at all. I'm very laid back, chill, genuine. If you fuck with my shit, you fuck with it. If you don't, that's cool. Keep it moving, you know? Like, that's my attitude on it. But to a certain degree, I feel kind of cornered and forced to be this person that's very outgoing, that's very kind of YouTuber-ish, if you get like what I'm saying. And it's
No,
like,
I get what you mean. I get what you
and
mean.
that's where I kind of find the conflict between internet meets reality, because it's like everybody does have an internet persona and an actual persona in real life, and how close those two are can either boost you or fucking limit you, you know? Cause I feel like who I am on Instagram is maybe a slightly more cooler, probably like a little bit more mysterious vibe than what I am in real life. You know, like still essentially the same person, but like I try to be a little bit cooler online, you know what I'm saying? And to a certain degree, I feel like me being so chill and laid back about it all and not really making two different personas and not really pushing myself so socially the way that I should does hold me back as an artist, because like it doesn't compromise the quality of my music at all, but it compromises the excitement and the anticipation that the audience has for it, you know?
Yeah. It's a
Because to some degree, I kind of feel like I'm just another fucking guy making music sometimes, even though I know it does have impact on people's lives.
I always feel like it's probably like might be just the consistency and just like how often people just kind of like show themselves, because it's like as mysterious as people want to be, I feel like there was a point in time when they were going crazy with the quote unquote content, and then like they left a lot of people there waiting for more, and then they just become so infatuated with that person that they're just kind of hanging on, and just like they just love you, you know? So like I don't know, like
Like you mentioned Party Next Door. When I first heard Party Next Door, I didn't see a music video of his until like a year, 2 years after I was listening to him. Same thing
yeah,
with The Weeknd. It was just fucking audio. And maybe that's just me being a weird music junkie, music lover, but it's like I could enjoy the audio and fuck with that artist heavy just off of the music alone, and follow them off of the music alone. But also like they had some clout because they're signed to Drake and stuff. But
and also you gotta understand, like, you know, I found you through the music. You know, I didn't
mm,
find you through like a YouTube video. I didn't find you through like an Instagram post. I didn't find you through some kind of like video, like of you just like, if if you feel like selling yourself, it was just purely based music. And even like I wasn't having the interactions I was having with you now, but like I was still so much of a fan that I still wanted to keep up with like you and like your life, and just like, or how much access I can get to your life, and just like keep following your journey. So I think like,
But do you feel like with the change of times and the new social media, not inventions, but you know what I mean? Like when I say that, like the
like
new,
the reels and TikToks
yeah,
and
all this other new shit that's coming into into the whole entire social media sphere now. Do you feel like that has changed at all? Like how people find, interact, admire, or follow an artist. Like, do you feel like that has changed from where it was to where it is now?
yeah, because I feel like it's becoming more intimate with the fan interactions. Honestly, like if we're talking from like an artist to fan point basis, because it's like, okay, you got Snapchat. Like I feel like Snapchat's a more of a personal thing. You know, people can really like follow the artist, the story. You know, like sometimes artists have private stories, and if you're lucky enough to get on that shit, then you can follow them. Instagram stories, you know, you just kind of follow the artist's life, and you know, it's kind of same thing with like Snapchat, but like Instagram's a little bit cleaner, like not as like edgy as you would see on Snapchat.
Yeah, it's a bit
And then you
more
have like
professional.
yeah, and TikToks and Reels, like I feel like a lot of people are taking advantage of those, because it's just like they're begging you to post like TikToks, and it's just like, or like Reels, you know, and like just kind of like the Vine days. Like sometimes you can see someone's personality, sometimes you don't. Like Trippy Red, like that nigga was big on TikTok. Like no man,
Mm.
not TikTok,
Vine,
Vine.
yeah, Vine, yeah.
Yeah, like
Smoke a wood
smoking the wood
in the
in the
woods.
woods.
Yeah, bro, exactly.
Yeah, like so it just depends. Like, but I don't feel like an artist or anybody should have to push out this persona like that they have to, like they don't have to be like, yeah, well, subscribe to my YouTube channel, you know, like, share, subscribe, you know, you know, like I feel like everyone has like their own quote unquote pitch. Everyone has the way they interact with people, you know, like you do you watch My Hero Academia?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, remember Endeavor? You know Endeavor?
Mm-hmm.
You remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was a scene where Endeavor was trying to be like, okay, so it was like, I think it was All Might, or like, no, not All Might. Who was that new character that had like the wings?
Oh, wait, the guy that could
That he could fly, and he had a certain amount of feathers that he can use.
you might
I'm not sure.
you might be a little bit too, like, I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I'm not super into it. Like I'm more of a Naruto guy, so it's like I'm
Okay,
not
okay,
super into it, but I'm
but
following you though.
okay, so there was like this one hero, and he was just like a crowd favorite, you know, like he had that personality, like, you know, he was very like into his fans, you know, he was very open, very smiley, you know, a lot of crowd interaction. Endeavor was a little bit more edgy, you know, kind of on the darker side. And Endeavor wanted to change things up, you know what I'm saying? Like he wanted to be a little bit more social, a little bit more likable. And so he went up to a fan, and then he just switched his personality to like, hey, you want, like, kind of like that person, like, hey, you want to get an autograph for me? You know, like that kind of shit.
Mhm.
And then the fan was like,
Who are you?
like, who are you? Like, this is not who I want. I don't want you. I don't want
Yeah.
this personality. Like, I want the person that would just like like push me away, and just, God, like that's not giving nothing to me, you know, like. So I think it's just like there's different ways how people feel about like, you know, their interactions with like their favorite like personalities. And I think with the new technology, it boosts like the interactions and makes it more like closer. But like I feel like you don't have to like put on the fake persona, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to just like mold. It just kind of adds on to who you are and just boost it more. If that
I
makes
feel you
sense.
on that. I feel you on that for sure. But you saying that also just kind of sparked something else in my head, where another thing that I get often from fans that like my music. I'm putting out new music and I have like a wide variety of songs. Like I have some like dance hallish type of stuff. I have some more R&B stuff. I have some more indie kind of rock type of vibes. And I always get, hey, make another song like Jungle Book, or make another song like a song from Temples that I made damn near 5-6 years ago, you know? And it's very similar to Endeavor in that sense, where the guy's like, who are you? Like I get, like with my new music and me evolving as an artist, I'm running into that push. Like people, I'm sure people still appreciate the music because it is still good music, but it's like they're looking for that next soundtrack to their life again. And meanwhile, I'm here growing and evolving as an artist and trying to grow and explore as many new sounds as possible. And every song might not hit the same way that the songs 5-6 years ago hit, but I don't know, I just feel a slight disconnect in my growth as an artist because people are expecting this song. Like when you really think about it, a lot of times, like let's say the baby, he had a hit song, and then you realize all of his songs are just variations of that song. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like music like that, and people fuck with the baby because they know what to expect from him already, and they already like that shit, and he's gonna keep on giving them what they want, like what they already expect and what they now want, because he's pretty much force fed it to them. And I'm I'm
I mean, I
still
get it.
I'm still growing and establishing myself as an artist. So it's like, what, like, am I supposed to just like pick a sound, pick a lane, and just stay in that lane and get typecasted and only make content in this lane because that's what people like and that's what people react to? Or am I supposed to keep on pushing the boundaries? Because making art to me is all about pushing the boundaries and challenging myself and doing something new that no one else is really fucking doing to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a bit of self awareness that involves like kind of having a one on one conversation with yourself, because it's like you also gotta understand, like it's just like we talked about, like there's a lot of emotional ties that comes with those songs, and it's just like having a more of a palette of those sounds would just, people would like that. But it's just like, like you go into the booth, like you can't imitate like the sound that you made like maybe 2 weeks ago, because like it's just not the same feeling, or you might not be feeling it, because at the end of the day, this is art. Like as much as you can, like people try to conveyor belt like music, at the end of the day, this is artistry, and you can't help how the artist feels. Like, I know the music business is the music business, but the business is made around artists, and it's like however they feel, however they function, despite like their past, their background, whatever shit they get into, the mental health issues that they go through, like if the artists like can't go back to that sound, like they can't go back to that sound. It's just hard, and if they can, then that's great. But it's just like artists evolve and artists have different situations in their lives. Like, you know, Isaiah Rashad, like they were talking about how like he was like going through some shit. Like he had like an alcohol addiction. He had to move back in with his like mom, like, and he had to take a break from music, had to go on his hiatus, and he came back with his new album, which was fucking fire.
I still haven't even listened to it, bro. I'm so late on music. But yeah,
No, it's
continue.
good. I mean, it's I was pretty late on it myself, like, but when I listened to it, like when I was like working, bro, like it is a fucking like hit. Like every song is just like a vibe. Like it's just very like nostalgic. Like
Mm.
it kind of reminds me of just family meetups. Like even though like like more, it seems like more the sense of like black cookouts and like that kind of like social background. But like for me, like I still are, it's like reminiscent of just like being with family, and then just like having like just nice gatherings, chilling with my brothers. Like sonically, that's just how I feel. Like it just made me just relive like my childhood,
Mm.
honestly. And it's just like, not to go on a side tangent, but just artists go through what they go through. They evolve. They leave sounds behind. They do what they want to do. Like maybe they'll go back to a sound, but it's just you can't help how you feel about like the music that you make. Like yeah, people say that, but they also like when they listen to your new songs, like you know they'll like it too. It's just like the other song is just so there's so much connection with that song. And as they grow up, like you don't really be having those crazy connections like you did when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Maybe if you because some people just stop listening to music like they used to, but it just kind of becomes like, like it becomes like certain songs where like it just sticks with you for the rest of your life. So you just might have those fans where it's like, okay, like this song is like stuck with me. Like I need more of this. Like I want more. And then you make new fans, and then you find you from your new songs, and then like those connections are forged, and it's just like not to just like quantify it, but it's just like life just kind of goes.
Yeah, bro.
So like I do feel you on that, but honestly, like your new music, your new sound, like your new lyrics, like I personally am loving the direction that you're going.
Like art imitates life for real. Like think about the whole entire Isaiah Rashad shit. And I haven't listened to his new music yet, but I'll make it a priority to do it like within the next couple of days because Isaiah Rashad, Sylvia demo, that shit changed my life. Like I remember, like there are a few artists that had a big impact on who I am today as an artist. One is Drake,
Yeah.
The Weeknd,
Yeah.
Party Next Door, Isaiah Rashad, Kendrick, Cudi, and that's pretty much it for me. Like me as an artist. Like there are also people that inspired me to make music and stuff that are not on this list, but those 6 artists really kind of shaped who I kind of am as an artist in a way. And where was I going with this? Yes, art imitates life, And so it's like when I was grinding through music and it's like getting 2-3 hours of sleep, as we mentioned before, I wasn't doing anything but making music. So then when I took that break and I was really out there living life and I was traveling, like I was pretty much back and forth between Connecticut and Montreal for like 3, 4, 5 years. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like just experiencing shit and going out there and living different experiences that I can now come back and put into the music and tell a different story. I hope that the fans that were fucking with me before with my college experiences come over and they kind of grow with me and appreciate the new grown fucking tapper music. But I also hope that this new music can reach people that are younger going through their coming of age shit, but also new people in my own age group and higher age groups that can also relate because of what they've gone through in life as well. So I can only hope, but yeah, I just have to continue my own process as an artist and continue living life and continue gaining new experiences and translating that and then putting that into stories and telling and hoping that they see the bigger picture.
And they will. I mean, it's just like all part of the journey, honestly. Like you just never know what the future entails. So it's just like, honestly, it's kind of like a nice just gift for everybody, just sometimes like artists need just to like live their lives a bit. And then when they come back, like the music after a break just becomes like so much more beautiful.
I forgot to mention Frank Ocean. I don't know if I put Frank Ocean on that list.
Nah, you didn't.
But Frank Ocean is up there for sure. Like I remember when he dropped Nostalgia Ultra, right?
Oh my god.
When we were kids, like fuck, like that shit was crazy, right? That was a moment in time. And then he took some time off doing the Odd Future shit, and then he came back and dropped Channel Orange, and that was another big fucking wave. Then he took another 4 or 5 years off and came back and dropped Blonde, and that was another fucking wave. Like and I appreciate him so much as an artist because I grew up with him in a sense, like he took time off to go live his life and explore new things, and then come back and put it into music form to a certain degree and share that with us. And so that time when I was just stuck on Channel Orange while he didn't put out anything else, I was living my life through Channel Orange to a certain degree. Same thing with Drake and all of his sequence of projects, but I was stuck on Channel Orange, going through my life, experiencing it through those songs. And then he comes out with Blonde, and it's like, damn, like all the songs that I was listening to, fucking with him heavy for from Channel Orange, kind of was a culmination building up to what Blonde is. And it's like I can appreciate Blonde because I was growing up with the music, and now that I'm growing up with alongside Blonde, I can appreciate it even deeper, and that builds my anticipation for his new stuff even more, because it's like, damn, he takes his time to really craft this shit and make it relatable and open to interpretation, but still so relatable to damn near everybody who that listens to its life.
Yeah. And it's just like, in this day and age of like microwavable music, like it's just kind of refreshing just to know like you can take your time and just really duck off and just really work on like what's important.
Yeah, bro, that's what I'm really focused on making right now, is timeless music. That's what I'm really focused on making right now. Just timeless music that really does have that impact.
And if there was like one thing that you would have to say to like the viewers, like what would it be? Or the listeners, really. Viewers and listeners open.
Damn. I don't know how deep.
Yeah, as deep as you want, bro.
I should get.
You know what I'm saying? Just let it all out, bro.
If there was one thing that I could tell to the listeners right now, is that perception is reality. On one hand, the way that people perceive you, like the perception that people have of you, is who you are to them. But then on the other hand, the perception that you have of yourself is who you kind of trick yourself into being, if that makes sense. So it's all about perspective, and it's all about perspective. So knowing who you are and where you want to be, or like who you are as a person, and putting those thoughts into your head will translate, and you'll slowly progress towards becoming that. And the person that you do put out there to the world is all like they take it all for fact. There's no gray area. It's all black and white. Whatever you put out there, people will take it for what it is, I guess. Hopefully that makes sense. So just be mindful of the be mindful of how people perceive you, and be mindful of your own perspective on yourself. And they're oftentimes never going to be the same thing, but the perception that you have of yourself is most important, because everybody's going to perceive. Because if you can have good perspective on who you are, you can then put out the image that influences their perception of you. And hopefully those two paths will line up to some degree somewhere down the line. But just your perspective is very important,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's really important too. Like, it's just knowing who the fuck you are, and just like also just, like you said, being mindful of like how you like perceive yourself like to everyone else. Like the energy that's given is like will also be received. So it's like just having that like self-awareness, like just kind of like, it's that third eye, that POV of just like who you are, like just waking up, looking in the mirror, and just seeing like who you are as a person outside from the internet. Like maybe you have a persona, maybe you don't. Maybe you make yourself look cool on the internet, maybe you don't. Like, just really just understanding yourself and like how you're growing
Mm.
and the end point that you'll get to.
Exactly. Like having that vision is established, you know?
Yeah, it's like super, like, it's like everyone needs to have that moment. Like, everyone needs to like really just like wake up, like, just kind of like sit down for a second, just get away from the screens, whether it be through prayer, whether it be through meditation, whether it be like through a walk, like just having that one-on-one time with yourself and just really like understanding like your whole autonomy, like just knowing like where you stand and then like where you will go.
Mm. And we're boys, so like I know that you've kind of gone through this transformation yourself very recently. I don't know how much of it you want to share with the listeners, but if you are interested, can you kind of expand on that and kind of tell it from your own story,
Yeah. um it's just like kind of like there comes a point in time where it's like you have to leave like your comfort zone and like you have to really like explore like just the world and just like yourself and just whether it be just like taking different routes to work or just like forging new habits, like you know just really making self-improvement and self-care like a priority. And I know like the term gets thrown around a lot, but like I think self-care is really like kind of understanding like your strengths and weaknesses, and a lot of people don't want to face like their weaknesses. And it's kind of been one thing with me, like just really like having that self-awareness enough to like essentially like tear myself down but then build myself back up.
Mm.
So for me, like it was kind of like after like Miami, like I kind of like went through like a depressive state. I was broke for a little bit. Like I didn't know like what was gonna come of everything. Like I felt like nothing was moving. Like I felt like I was just being a bum. Like, and of course, like with COVID, like I gained a lot of weight. Just like the rest of the world, and it just put me in a very sad point in my life. Like I just felt like not even really with like body image, but just really with myself and just how I carried myself. Because like I just felt like I wasn't really like worthy and shit, you know. And we had these conversations just like about confidence and just really trying to like feel like you know feel like the shit, feel
Yeah.
like who we are. But I think what really helped was just like focusing on like what you love and just like kind of ducking out for a bit, just having like that one-on-one time with myself, just because it was like all I cared about was just getting better as a person and just like being good with myself so I can be good with others. Because I feel like that's one thing that people need to talk about as well. It's like, especially with artists, like they feel like they can just like go into like a major artist DMs or someone that might be like more popping than them or works harder than them, but it's just like, can you meet up with their standards?
Mm.
Like, can you really work up to their standards? Can you work as hard as them? Like, it's just like, if you're not ready, then you're not ready, So it's like, I was kind of just working on just like, trying to like be able to,
Bettering like your self-perception.
yeah, perception, efficiency, productivity, like just like social awareness, just being just just being more of a person that's like making more of an impact on people's lives. And then like also the mental health part, like it is so slept on, especially like in Black communities. Like I've, as an immigrant, well, as a no, not immigrant, a first generation, a child of immigrant parents, I feel like there comes times where like, you know, parents put all their energy into like just working hard to like build the best life possible, that the emotional side and the feeling side and just like really the mental health side is neglected,
Mm.
and it's very apparent. And it's just like it's taken for granted because it's like people think like, okay, like your mental health, yeah, yada yada yada, is not as important as like your physical well-being. But they all go hand in hand, because it's like there are some things that you do that you think you're self-aware and that you understand what's going on, but you really don't. Like maybe the way, the energy that you put out, maybe when you get angry, you're forgetful. um you say that you can handle all these things, but you really can't. But in your mind, like you feel like you can fix it with willpower, but you really can't. So it's like really just kind of breaking all that down and really just kind of understanding your strengths and your weaknesses. That was a big thing for me, like kind of like to get me like on a better path. So like even like, you know, with work and like trying to do 1107 and then like doing my other endeavors, like, you know, I have to like make like a routine, and I have to like be realistic with myself and not be so much of like, oh, I can do all of this, but I have to like set a schedule. Like I have to have a routine. Like I have to make it like write things down in my notes. Like I gotta like journal. I gotta have like ideas written down. Like I have to be very proactive in like what I want to do in my life and what I want to improve. So I think that's really what was what for me, like just being more proactive and like
And really
just
going after it. Like if you want it, go and get it.
yeah, like Miami was a big turning point for me, because it was just like I realized like I get super tired easily, and then like I wasn't used to that kind of like environment, like of just like staying up and like recording, and just like you already know, bro, like I fell asleep. Nigga, I was knocked out because what happened was you gave me one gummy, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I took another gummy, and it was like what, 75 milligrams.
Something like that, bro. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, so like, you know, I took that. Nigga, we were at the Greek restaurant, bro. Like when we got there, like as like we were like wrapping up, like I was like fucking tweaking. And I literally stood up, had to get the waiter. I was like, yo, I need the check now. Give me the check. And then that was the end of my trip. Like literally, like the trip ended like a day early for me.
Yeah, bro. That shit was, yeah.
That was a nice trip though. But yeah, I think people really need to sit down and really understand what self improvement is and self care, because it's not just having a skincare routine. Like it's more than just that. Like it's not just, you know, making your bed, you know, and just like doing all the checkpoints that you always see like in all the videos. Like you have, it's like really sitting down and seeing what's wrong with you and what you can do to fix it.
I was reading this book, and I think it's called The Atomic Rule. Or the atomic. One second, I'm googling it. Sorry, we don't have that Joe Rogan person on here to help us Google.
Hey, yo, Steve, Google that book, can you? I don't even know his name. I think it's
The book is called Atomic Habits, right?
yeah.
And it's a very I was listening to it. It's an audiobook, but it's also, you know, an actual book. But it's like changing the So I say that because there's a quote that I heard that I fucking live by now. How you do anything is how you do everything, you know? So if you're not treating yourself right, that's gonna reflect in everything else in your fucking life. So like, yes, you might be getting up and you might have enough energy to like get throughout your day, but if you're not treating yourself properly, then you might get what you need to get accomplished, but it will not come out the same way that it would if you were it would not be the same quality as if it would not be the same quality as if you were doing it 100%, like you might be doing it 85%. So yes, it's still done and you're still passing, but you're not getting that A plus, you know what I'm saying? You're getting a B, you're getting a C. And so
Yeah.
how you treat yourself is very important, because once you start treating yourself like an A plus, everything you do turns into an A plus. You know, like it just kind of pours over into every single other aspect in your life, because once you know how to treat yourself well, everything else kind of falls into place a lot of the times. I find, you know.
And that's very true. It's just like you have to like kind of step it up. Like, you know, there might be some like that trash can has been filled for a minute, you know, like maybe you can get by with just tossing the bottle on top of it, but you know,
You gotta empty that shit.
Gotta empty it, you know.
And you know, and to go off of like what you were saying about being more proactive, pretty much right before we went to Miami is when I kind of came to that realization. Like, we went to Miami December, like around September, I realized like, damn, like I could be doing a lot more stuff that I want to do that I'm putting off to the side for whatever the fucking reason was, you know. And September I decided to pick up guitar, and by January, obviously I'm not like a fucking professional guitar player, but by January I was making my own songs. I went from just fucking strumming chords to now I'm playing like fingerstyle guitar, and I'm recording my own guitar songs. I don't have to go look for guitar beats on the internet. Like, that's just like one small aspect, but just me being proactive about that boosted my confidence so much, and that led me to now finally start, like, once I started doing that, and I realized how fast I progressed just by being so proactive and doing and committing myself to it every single day. I was like, all right, cool, let me try and record a song every single day. And you know, there's that. And then let me try and like, that was like, you know what, I don't have any videos. Let me go get a camera and let me start shooting a video for fucking every single song that I do. It might not be the best fucking video, but that, you know, it's a snowball effect. That 1% rule, changing that one little thing in your day-to-day routine, can have the biggest impact for you down the line, you know. And it all starts somewhere.
It starts somewhere, and you know, like even if it's not the most lavish start, it could lead to like the most lavish ending, for real.
Consistency is key, man.
The biggest key.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, man, honestly, like having you on this podcast, bro, like it's definitely like, this is what I was like talking about, like just, I don't know, like every time we talk, bro, it's always just like just the most like deepest conversations, and I just always feel like I leave with like a new sense of wellness.
Likewise, bro. And before we wrap this up, I just want to like really thank you for being a friend to me first and foremost. Like, yes, we started out as like fan and artist, you know, or supporter and artist, but like you've really grown into like one of my good friends, you know. And you're always there to motivate me, to cheer me on. And even when I feel like I'm not the shit, you make me feel like I'm the shit, bro. And I hope that I can do the same for you. I hope that I already do the same for you. But I just want to really say thank you from like the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of my heart for that, because you've really just been a true friend, for real, first and foremost. And I'm so happy to be on your platform. Shout out to Lorenzo too. And I'm just so happy to be your friend, man, first and foremost. And I can't wait to see where you continue to go, because over the past few months you made such a big change and improvement in your life, and I've seen it, and it's just only up from here, man. Just gotta keep it up.
For real, bro, man. And like likewise, like it's just like, you know, just being able to meet you and just like have like that friendship and just like, really like get to know each other. Like it was just cool. Like just that internet shit, like, like certain things like I can't get from like my hometown from certain people. Like it's like I find it through the internet, and it's just like it's just nice knowing that like no matter the medium, like connections are connections.
Definitely.
So I always like appreciate you like as a friend, and like, even though like our lives can be busy, like I always want to like just like touch base and just like really like connect. So like, bro, like we definitely got to go on another trip, bro.
Definitely. Sooner rather than later, man.
Yeah, man. Definitely got a plan for spring though, for real.
I'm with it.
But yeah, man. It's 11:07, episode 6, and we're gone.
Wait. 1 second. Sorry, you're gonna have to redo that. Tapper, been here before. The music video is out right now on YouTube. B4, like letter B, number 4. Please go check that out. I'm working on my new project called Hubris. It's very guitar based. I have a whole bunch of other singles out with different styles, even like in different languages and shit. Please go check it out. Tapper worldwide on pretty much any social media platform. Tapper on Spotify, Tapper on Apple Music. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. And yeah, thank you, Jansen.
11:07, episode 6, with the legend Tapper, and we're out.
Just like that.